Alright, picture this, okay? You are working on a massive project on a big company, building your or you're just building your own business, but then you are distracted by phone, email, notification, Snapchat, Hus texting you, blah 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 blah. And you spend 20 to 40 hours a day. That's not impossible. 20 to 24-hour a day just wasting away. And you spent 16 hours working and you feel exhausted at the end of the day. But guess what? You got nothing done. 0% of the work that you're supposed to do done. Guess what? A study have found that most people have spent their life never entering the deep state. And if they are, they only spend 2 hours at most in a deep work state. That's only what 12% of your day being in a state where you are completely focused and you could achieve as much things as possible. You're just leaving out 80% of your own day trying something else as shallow and not productive. Shallow work. If you can spend at least like what 40% of your day on a deep work, you are already ahead of 99% of people who have worked. So recently I have read this book by Cal Newport, Deep Work. This book is basically the blueprint where you could achieve the deep work state and enter the flow zone 24/7. And it is the secret recipe that most high performer, high earn income people have applied. And in today's video, I'm gonna share you that exact secret that I've learned throughout reading the book and applying it for myself. So just stay tuned. At the end of this video, I'm gonna give you an actionable step that you can take so you could achieve the goals that you want. So before we get into the tactic, let's explain what is deep work. Deep work is a state of being where you are completely focused. You are locked in, you are in the zone, you are in the flow. It is the experience if you have played sport before, where time is medial. You can't feel the time at all. It's just boom, 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 boom. But you are so focused in that task that you perform everything flawlessly. And a lot of people in sport have called this I am in the zone. When you are out on the field and your opponent seem like they're moving so slow, you can understand their movement and your body reacts to that perfectly. And as time passes by, don't even notice it because you are so focused on the game where you are surprised when the final bell ring or when that quarter is over. That's what it means to be in the zone in deep work. So when you are applying this to say like your set work, you are so focused on a task at hand where time just fly by you, and before you even notice 4 hour pass, 5 hour pass, 6 hour pass, and you are just so locked and you are just so focused that you get everything that you're supposed to be done in like a week. You finish it in one day. That's the capability outwork of deep work. So let's compare that to like the contrast, where let's say you are doing shallow work. So what exactly does it mean to be shallow work? you are distracted. You have something on the side like a YouTube video. You're watching YouTube while working simultaneous tasks. You're just switching between this and that. And yes, that's shallow work. You are distracted and you are not focused in one task that completely exhausts you. That is shallow work. Even if you are working on one task, one thing, you have something, your phone on the side, or you're not completely focused, you have music on or some sort of like that. Those are shallow work where you are technically working, but you are not using your time to the best of your extent. So let's take, for example, one person in the book that mentioned have leveraged this deep work ability is J.K. Rowling. She is the author of Harry Potter, and as she wrote the final Harry Potter book that wrap up everything on in one book, the most important book out of all of them that will satisfy the reader and the publisher to wrap up everything the chef wrote so far. She just has to be so focused to finish this task because that book is life or death for her series. Because if she ended good, if she ended well, that's gonna make or break her series. So she spent every dedicating hours of her life going to that book. But originally, when she started it, she worked at home where she had her kids. She have uh, things at the home that was distracting her, and everything make her work shallow. That is when she decided to book up the best hotel with the most expensive money that she could find so people aren't going in and out, or there wasn't much noise or distraction or anything like that. That allowed her to spend her time in deep work, and in the time span that she booked for a hotel, she finished her book and have it fully published and ready. So that's the true power of deep work. And I recommend you to try to find your way to achieve this deep work or to apply this deep work. And next, I'm going to give you the step by step or the things that you should keep in mind when you are trying to enter the deep work state. Look, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are people who want to produce high value work, or so, and what term does high value mean? For an author, might be generating a best-selling book. For an artist, might be creating a piece that will last for a generation. For an entrepreneur, might be 3xing, 4xing your revenue from your work. Those are the type of result that you will achieve by doing deep work. And here's the thing that I want you to keep in mind in order for you to achieve the deep work that you want. So first, this is the most important thing. If you are taking anything out to achieve deep work, then this is what I want you to take out. Step 1, scheduling out your schedule. That sounds really, really dumb. But what I mean by that is you should spend your first waking moment of your day looking at your calendar, seeing what type of block you want to go into. So for example, right now I have my calendar block as recording videos. So I just have an hour block of deep work just recording videos. And after this, I would put something else like yap about college or something like that. That's the next block that I have, yap about college. And then I would have doing scholarship. Would have doing lead scrape. I would have 30-minute block or whatever, however long you think it would take for you to accomplish that task. An hour, 2 hour. I put a block down for every task I want to finish. And right after I finish this task, I can just hop on right to the next task and keep at that flow state and not be like distracted, say like, what should I do next? What's important? And only then until you can find when you are just completely exhausted and you can't work anymore. That's only when you stop or when you already have scheduling a block where you are allowed to rest. So the catch to this is not that you want to follow strictly to a schedule that you set in the morning. Because if you know already, life would just tug you back and forth. Because right now, look, this task is already taking me longer than I expected. I was expecting this to last an hour or two. But at this rate that I'm going right now, the task I'm doing gonna bleed into the next task. It's gonna take an hour and 30 minutes for it to finish recording all of this. So what I would do from there is, if this task has already bleeded into the next block, what I would do is, after I finish this task, I would have a 10-20 minute block of rescheduling. What that would do, it will allow me to have a flexible schedule so I could change what I need. So right now, if this block has already bleed into the next block, what I'm going to do when I go and reschedule is I'm going to stretch this block out to where I'm at right now, add in a rescheduling period, and then rearrange my task in order of importance or how I want to achieve it, so I could effectively achieve that task when the time has changed. So for example, if I'm doing this task, it takes an hour and 30, but I was supposed to spend that 30-minute finishing another task. I'll move that task down and I would just work at it after. Or if I have already scheduled in a break period, a stop period, where I completely stop working at 5, but since this block interrupted, I would have to just remove a task tomorrow or some sort like that. So it allowed me to change and adapt to my own schedule and to life, because you will never be able to predict the things that will happen to you as you go on in life. So just allow you the time to be flexible with your schedule, so you could achieve at most as possible and producing the most qualities. 2, you need to create a specific zone for every type of work. You need to create that zone to be distract free, or a zone where at the moment that you step in that zone, you know what you need to do. So this has applied for me when I go to the gym. So I have that zone right there where I will work out. That's the only zone where I will work out. Anything else, I'm not going. So once I enter that zone, the only thing I would do is work out. And that allowed me to, 1, finish my task faster, and 2, let me into the deep work state where I just want to go and finish that task. So what I've implemented is my computer. So this space right here is one where I work or I play. That in the past has created some distraction for me because I would just have sometimes I'm playing, I have like a video game open the night before or something like that. That would distract me for my work. But what I did is I create user. So I create two separate user. One is named work and one is play. So when I want to work, I would just go into that work user and that would have everything that I need open for me to work. And when I want to play, I go into that play user and go and play games. So that create two different zone where I work and I play. A lot of the time when you are sleeping, you want to create a zone when you are only sleeping. I know it's very comfortable for you to work on your bed or something like that, but that would just never work because if you work on your bed, you will feel too comfy and sleepy. You won't achieve anything. And when you're trying to sleep, your mind will remind you that hey, maybe this space is there's the space to work. And your brain will just start ticking and ticking and ticking and you won't be able to sleep at all. So just make sure you have dedicated zone for each important task. Like if you're in a gym, the only place you work out is the gym. If you're working, the only place you work is in your office or something like that. If you're sleeping, the only place you should be sleeping, or the only place that you should be sleeping is in your bed. Simple as that. Nothing else will happen in that space. That's pretty much it. And if I'm being honest, I have not fully applied this for every task because I haven't been able to find a good zone where I could do this. So, if I'm being honest with you, when you apply this task like this, it allow you to focus so much. Like, no, I only have two zone right now: the gym zone and the work zone. That's pretty much it. If I were to add more zone into it, I would be able to enter the deep work state more consistently and generate better result. So create your own zone and try to work as efficient as possible. So a lot of the time when you have your own zone, you have this problem where you won't get out of that zone and you will just work 24/7. Try a technique where it's called the Pomodoro technique, where you work for a block of period and then you stop. And the moment you stop, you walk away from that zone to recharge. So in the book Deep Work, they recommend 90 minutes of deep work and then a 10-minute break and then 9 minutes again and then a 10-minute break. So just cycle that through to make sure you aren't burnt out and you don't associate your work zone with bad memories of you just burning out, just trying to blast through everything. Tip number 3, learn to say no. So, no is the easiest to spell, but it's the hardest thing to say in the English language. It is learning to say no to this distraction, to the thing that aren't bringing you the result that you are trying to achieve. So, in the morning, if you're trying to get to deep work, learn to say no to the breakfast. Learn to say no to your friend saying, hey, we should do this in the morning this time, when you know that that time is your deep work block. Nothing else should be able to distract it. Learn to say no. Learn to say no to the woman in the red dress. That's the analogy that Alex Hormozy used. And I feel like that's perfect for it. Because if you are just trying to chase after that woman in the red dress, you will lose sight of everything else and you will be attacked by distraction and stuff like that. So just learn to say no and only say yes when it is beneficial to your own goal or your goal in the future. Step 4. Boredom. So there are a crisis right now where we constantly live in an age where we need to have distraction. We need to have no more boredom. Boredom is not that bad. Great thinkers think when they're bored. Boredom creates success. Learn to embrace the boredom. Because if you are just 24/7, the moment that you're bored, after you say finish your work or something like that, the moment you're bored and you go and reach for your phone and distract yourself, what would you get out of it? You will basically just spend your time being distracted on something on your phone instead of just thinking of something that you could apply to your work. So oftentimes when I'm bored, my mind go on tangent, like it go on different rant and stuff like that. And oftentimes those rant are useful because I have been able to get a bunch of ideas for my business on those rant. Where when you are bored, you think of idea that you don't normally think about, like non-conventional idea, because your brain is just going on like this weird tangent and just think of every single thing to just keep your mind not going blank. One perfect example of this is when right before you sleep. Oftentimes when you are bored when you sleep and you are fully awake, your mind will go on a weird tangent and it would just start thinking random things and you'll be able to just grasp a bunch of idea from it. Like I said, this is not good things. I shouldn't be uh, thinking too much right before I sleep. However, when I found that when my mind is still conscious and I haven't really fully used or exhausted my brain, my mind go on full tangent or full thinking mode when I'm bored. Great thinker thinks. The only thing that will make you think a lot is when you are bored. If you distract yourself with something else, you will be focused on that thing until it is over, which is going to be never. Endlessly scrolling. It's endless, it's infinite. So, things are tailored to go against you and your great ability. So, better stay focused to the point where you could think of a great idea for your business and embrace the boredom. Tip number 5. This one is what I'm trying to input right now. It's just to measure your output. Learn what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong, what metric is converting. So the simplest way is that if you spend an hour working in a deep work, how much is that outputting? Learn to measure that. Or if you are going on a bulk, how much strength you gain, learn to measure the output. If you are doing this much rep, how much fatigue you feel, learn the output. Learn the output of every single thing so you could fine tune your own comfort. So you could fine tune in the perfect place, the perfect environment where you could achieve deep work. So just see what type of input is and what type of output. That will help you to measure and to replicate the deep work zone over and over again. So let's wrap this whole thing up. In today's days and age, we should spend more time in the deep work because it gives you the most bang for your buck for your time. And 1 hour of deep work is better than 5 hour or even 10 hour of shallow work. That's how powerful it is. So if you just spend your time learning how to go into zone, you'll be able to achieve the goals that you want. And personally, when I do this, I was able to 3x, I'm not kidding, 3x my income every month consistently. That's how powerful it is when you are in deep work. But that's pretty much it for that video. And I really hope that you will apply some of this tip that I give you to enter deep work. If anything, try number one. That's it. Just try number one. Take my word for it, and you will change everything. So, other than that, if you want me and my team to help you get 5 to 10 or 10 to 20 appointment every month automatically, book a call with me below. Other than that, later. Or, make sure you check out my free course, alright? Make sure you check out my free course, right? Later.